I'm originally an artist. The designer changed later. I wasn't until 25 before I really became a designer. Before that, I was drawing comic books, pen and ink. Well, the transition to fashion happened because I always wanted to make my own clothes. I didn't really care about anybody else. It was all about me. I just wanted to make my own clothes and be happy, and I got pride, and I loved making my own clothes. So people knew that I was making my own clothes. They can tell it was different. So they would ask me to do things, do shows, and I started kind of doing that. But then a girl that I used to talk to at the time convinced me to do a show at her school. So I decided to do it, but I didn't have any clothes. So what I did is I sketched out a whole collection the night before, and I presented it to the committee, and they hired me. And I was like, okay, cool. So now I had to produce. So at that point, that was the first collection I ever made for a woman or for anybody else. And then from then on, that's when everything kind of like took off. So I always had, like little connections here and there. So I would go like to the go-sees at Henry Bendel whenever they did them. And that was really to see what people kind of thought of my stuff. So I would put myself in a position where people would say, no, we hate it. Because at the end of the day, how are you gonna, increase your skill if you stay in that safe zone where your family and your friends like it, but they're not wearing your clothes. But in doing that, you've seen how Henry Bendel sets up the organization of that. I always try to pay attention to the organization to really know what was going on. The most important person in any show that I did was always the show producer. And you had to know who, what, when and where, who's doing the show, why is the show happening, where is it gonna happen, what's the point? Everything has to have a point, every show has to have a point.